everyone, it's James here from goodguitarist.com, and today I'm going to show you how to play Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. Last time we learned how to do all the strumming, so today we're just going to focus on that intro. And I actually have two different ways to play it. There's a super easy version that keeps everything down here, you know, in like the same place you're used to with all your chord shapes. And then we're going to do it the way that they actually do on the recording. So we're going to just jump right in. If along the way you find that you need any extra help, I do have some resources. I'll put links to those down below. There's my Fingerstyle course, which goes over all the rudiments of fingerstyle, and I teach it the same way that I teach strumming, you know, just really simple. Everything's broken down and gradual. And there's also the chord chart for this song, so you can always just follow along with it at your own pace. That's available on my Patreon. I'll put links to all that stuff down below. Anyways, we're just going to jump right in. Here's what we're going to try to play. We'll start with the simple version. And we're going to break that down into 4 basic chunks. First, we start off, it's like a C chord. I'm going to have my third finger, my ring finger, on the 3rd fret of the A string. And then my first finger is ready to press the 1st fret of the B string. So I'll press it, but I'm going to lift it up a little bit so that it's ready to go. You know, I don't want it like over here. I want it ready to go. And we're going to pick the A string with our thumb. And I like to use my middle finger for the B string. I'm kind of in standard finger picking position where I have my index on G, my middle finger on B, and then my ring finger on the high E string. That works for like 99% of finger picking songs, by the way. Anyways, I have those 2 strings. My index finger on my left hand is ready to press down that fret. I start off going like this. And then I place my first finger, and then I lift it up. So it's not too bad. We play these strings together, and then index, and then off. Just try that a few times. From there, I'm going to move this finger to the thickest string, and then my pinky is ready to just press down the 3rd fret of the B string. So you might want to just try that a couple times, just going like that, making that little switch. And my thumb is down to the thickest string, my middle finger's in the same place. I pluck together, and then the open G string. Putting that together with our first bit. So get comfortable with that, you know, playing the notes in order. And then we can add a little bit of counting to, you know, make it rhythmic. It would go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So just take a look at how it lines up with the rhythm. We'll go step by step. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So first we go as slow as we need to get everything correct, feeling comfortable. And then over time you can gradually speed it up. You could even use a metronome for this. You know, just going. And then just putting it up a little bit at a time. You know, just put it up from like 100 to 102, and you won't even notice that it's any faster. That's like the power of practicing with a metronome, by the way, is that you just gradually increase the speed and you don't even notice it, and then all of a sudden you can do it with the recording, no problem. But it all starts with being able to break it down and count it out and go through the motions rhythmically. Anyways, that's the first half of this thing. All we have left to do is... And that is quite easy. I'm just plucking the thickest string with my thumb and the 3rd fret of the thinnest string together. I'm using my thumb and middle finger for my plucking. And I just go like this. Then I switch to the second fret of the highest string and I pluck the D string. So it's just two really simple shapes. This and then this. And since the notes are so easy, let's focus on the rhythm. It goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So this one's on beat 1, which is easy enough. And then the and after 2. 1 and 2 and. So just count out loud. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 just line up the motions with the counting. And once you do that with each half of this, we can put it all together going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 once you have that together, we basically do it exactly like that 2 times, and then there's a little bit of a difference. The third time we do it, it goes like this. So for our second half there, we're going. We start out the same way, but then we go 5, 3, play a little bit of a melody, and then when we go to our next little shape, 2, 3, 2. So just get those notes. The first shape, and then, so it's just a little modification of what we did before. Instead of going, we're going. So now that we've looked at all the individual components, I'm going to put this whole thing together nice and slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Cool, so that was the easy way to do it. Now we're going to take a look at the way that they would do it on the recording. So it's basically one thing, and then we just change it up a little bit as it goes on. We're gonna break it down into 4 main bits. First, we have a C chord here, and I'm gonna lift up my first finger, so it's ready to play that first fret, but it's not. And then with my picking hand, I have my thumb on the A string, my index finger on the G string, and then my middle finger on the B string. I pluck all 3 of those strings together, and then I hammer that first fret where my finger would normally go on a C chord. So get that down. That's the first step. And don't get too hung up on that hammer-on. You'll have lots of time to make it sound right, but if you just keep kind of pushing it right now, I don't think that's the right thing to focus on. We'll just learn the whole shebang, and then later you can come back and improve that hammer-on. I'll post some exercises below maybe. Anyways, we start off with that, and then we lift up our finger and pluck those 2 strings with just our index and middle. So, hammer off. Then we quickly switch to a G chord using just 2 fingers, my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the thickest and my pinky on the 3rd fret of the B string. And my index finger is going to be on the G string, my middle finger is on the B string, and that's where they're going to stay for the entire thing. So from now on, I'm basically just going to say pluck with your index, and I don't have to specify which string because your index is always on the G string. Your middle is always on the B string. So once again, once we get to that G chord, we do them all, thumb, index, and middle, and then middle, index. Remembering that our index finger is always on G and our middle is always on B. Really slowly putting that together. So it's 2 things. It's and then and work on it that way. You know, the first half, the second half, and then we can put it together. Just those 2 bits, nice and slow. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Try that as many times as you need to. Pay attention to how it lines up with the counting. I would almost go at it that way. Counting first, focusing on what goes with beat 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You know, if you can just feel the rhythm, great. You don't have to do that. But if you're having trouble getting things to line up, this is the way to do it. Anyways, once you've taken a look at that, we can go move on. Next up, so this is actually a pretty common shape. You'll find it in songs like Blackbird and stuff. It's called a 10th. This is an E minor. We have on the A string, the 7th fret, and I'm playing that with my index finger. And then I'm putting down either my ring finger or my middle finger on the 8th fret of the B string. I feel the ring finger is a bit more comfortable. My index and middle, they're still on those same strings, on G and B, but my thumb now has to move to the A string, and we're just going to pluck them together. And that's it. We move on to the next shape. I just like to take my ring finger down to the 7th fret. Everything else is open otherwise. And then our thumb moves to the D string now. Pluck those all together. So just work on that first, on going, just getting used to those shapes. You know, this one right here, plucking all 3. And then we change our shape by just sliding our ring finger down to the 7th fret. Our thumb has to change to the D string. Pluck these 3 strings. And then we go middle, index. And that's it. So take a sec, work out the notes, and then we can count it out with the rhythm, going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now at this point, I would take a moment to work through the entire thing, count it out, do whatever you need to first of all, memorize everything and get it in the right order. And then secondly, be able to do it slow and steady with the counting. And now we're just going to practice that a little bit. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's pretty much it, but there is one variation. You know, in the context of the song, we would play through it 4 times. Well, the 3rd time we do it, it goes like this instead. So there's a bit of a different thing once we go up to those 2 chord shapes. First of all, the notes, we start off the same way, but then we add that to our first chord shape. So going from the 8th fret to the 10th fret. And if you need to, you could go like this, fingering it like that or like this. The only one that's not going to work is this, because then you'd have to slide up, and it kind of works, but it's super crappy compared to the other ways to do it, so we're not going to do it that way. Anyways, we're just going to go like that, plucking that extra couple notes, and then we go to this shape. And for that one, we're only plucking the D string and the B string, and then 8, 7. So it's just a little melody. We're just going like this with our melody line. Just try that even, just going 8, 10, 8, 7, 8, 7. I'm just going to show you how I would practice this, just feeling it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I would add the rest of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then once you get comfortable with that, I would work on getting back into the rest of it. You don't even have to play the rest of it, but you just have to make sure that you can get down to that C chord and, work your way into that. So that is the only variation. Otherwise, we just play it like the first way that we did it, and it's not too bad. So you know all the components, you can work them all out. I'm going to go through them nice and slowly, give you something to play along to. You're welcome to always just watch this, see how it goes, and then try it with me afterwards. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Cool, so that's the intro to Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. If you haven't already, I recommend also learning how to strum the rest of the tune, so you're not just somebody who shows up at the party, plays the intro, and then nobody gets to sing along, right? If you need any extra help, I have that chord chart available on my Patreon. I also have my Fingerstyle course, Fingerpicking Mastery, that helps you out with all the rudiments of finger picking, works you out, gets you used to it, builds up the muscle memory. The same way we approach chords and strumming, I've broken it down and done that with Fingerstyle. So we're not just reading notes, we're actually learning about it. I also have my complete beginners course and a bunch of other stuff, my free ebook. I'll put links to all that down below. Anyways, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.